In a pediatric ward, nurses frequently reported the chilling sensation of a small hand brushing against their ankles. One night, a nurse was working late when she felt a cold draft and heard a soft giggle. Turning, she saw a young girl standing at the end of the empty hallway, her translucent form shimmering in the dim light. Before she could react, the girl vanished. The following day, a child passed away in the same ward, and the nurses realized the spectral child had appeared the night before the child's passing. The eerie coincidence sent shivers down their spines. Some believed it was the ghost of a child who had passed away in the ward long ago, unable to find peace. Others dismissed it as a collective hallucination, a product of the stress and exhaustion of their demanding jobs. Regardless, the spectral child continued to haunt the ward, her presence felt by nurses and doctors alike. The once cheerful pediatric ward was now shrouded in an unsettling atmosphere, filled with a sense of unease and dread. The nurses and doctors tried to ignore the strange occurrences, but the specter of the spectral child lingered, a constant reminder of the supernatural mysteries that may lurk within even the most sacred of places. A surgeon at a renowned hospital often felt a strange presence in the operating room. During a particularly complex procedure, he felt a cold chill and heard a faint whisper. When he looked up, he saw a ghostly figure standing in the corner, watching the surgery. The surgeon, shaken but determined, continued with the procedure. The patient recovered successfully, but the surgeon never forgot the chilling encounter. He began to research the history of the operating room, hoping to find an explanation for the ghostly apparition. He discovered that a young surgeon had died during a procedure in the same room many years ago. The surgeon's ghost, it seemed, was still haunting the operating room, trapped in a perpetual loop of his final moments. The surgeon, now convinced of the supernatural presence, began to feel a sense of empathy for the ghostly figure. He believed that the spirit was simply seeking peace and closure. To lay the ghost to rest, the surgeon performed a symbolic ritual in the operating room, offering prayers and words of comfort to the trapped spirit. From that day forward, the surgeon no longer felt the eerie presence. He believed that his ritual had helped the ghostly figure find peace, finally releasing him from his eternal torment. In a maternity ward, a nurse frequently heard the sound of a woman crying in an empty room. She would investigate, but the room would always be empty. One night, a woman gave birth to a stillborn child. The next day, the nurse heard the crying again, but this time it was accompanied by a faint, mournful wail. The woman who had lost her child was inconsolable, and the nurses believed the crying was the spirit of the child, unable to find peace. The nurses tried to comfort the grieving mother, but nothing could ease her pain. As time passed, the crying became less frequent, but it never completely ceased. The nurses believed that the spirit of the stillborn child was trapped in the maternity ward, unable to find peace in the afterlife. The nurses began to feel a sense of unease in the maternity ward, as if they were being watched. They would often catch glimpses of shadows moving in the corners of their eyes, and they would hear faint whispers in the quiet of the night. Some believed that the spirit of the stillborn child was responsible for the eerie occurrences, seeking solace in the place of his birth. To try to appease the restless spirit, the nurses began to hold a small memorial service for the stillborn child. They would light candles, say prayers, and offer words of comfort. Gradually, the eerie occurrences began to subside, and the maternity ward returned to a sense of peace. The nurses believed that the memorial service had helped the spirit find peace, allowing him to move on to the afterlife.